This is one of the things that I did this year, finding the why. Why are we photographing? Do you want to switch your mic off there? Samsung S5928B.
Very fun.
Okay. Okay. So I just want to go through, I went through a bit of a journey with it, and I just want to take you on the journey that I went. So finding the why. So if I click on this screen now. Okay, so this is one of my all-time favorite photos, lunch atop a skyscraper. It was taken in 1932, a photographer unknown. The point of this, it was on film. Okay. The next one, taken on film. Look at those photographers in the background. This is Muhammad Ali versus Sonny Liston. If you don't know the story, this is Muhammad Ali in the first round. Sonny Liston went down with what many people call a phantom punch. And they all went, oh, the mobsters, the mafia are involved. And then, of course, Neil Leifer, he got this image. Liston got back up. Don't worry. Next one, Tank Man. This photo sends shivers up my spine. Taken in 1989, actually not so long ago. Again, with film. Really iconic image, unknown man confronting a line of tanks at Beijing's Tiananmen Square, that whole uprising. We don't know where he is. Many of the students that were there simply disappeared. What is my point? My point is that everything is really taken on film. All those photos were taken on film. They were so iconic. So what's happening now? Before digital cameras and the internet, sports photographers relied on really labor-intensive processing involving film, portable darkrooms, analog transmission technology, and I got a really cool video to show you about that. Okay. Photographers would send their precious roll of film via motorcycle couriers to the newspaper, or they would actually have an event early to get back to the newspaper or magazine, and they would process the images in the darkroom for the morning edition, because it still had to go to print. Photographers would have these little caravans or even mobile darkrooms in the back of their car, and they would take chemical kits with them and portable enlargers and portable dryers. However, the lucky ones would use this. This is so cool. Listen to this.
Which we want to send to another location. And the only way to send it is through a small tube. For our purpose, we'll make this picture on closely wound string. Now, if we start at one end of the picture, taking it line by line or string by string in proper order, we can run the string through the tube and assemble it at the other end, line by line, until we again have the original pattern. That is exactly what we do in wired photo transmission. But we now take the picture apart electrically, translate it into units that we can send over a wire. The units are lines, all of the same width, but of different tones of gray. Instead of changing lines into a pattern, wired photo transmission is simply a matter of breaking up the pattern or picture into lines. This process is called scanning. A light is focused on the picture, and as the drum revolves, this light scans the picture from top to bottom on this line.
Okay, so it was kind of edited there by someone. That would take, a black and white image would take 8 to 9 minutes to go through, and a color image would take up to 30 minutes. And they were still using this kind of technology, obviously not as primitive as that, right up into the 1980s. But of course, we know what happened with Kodak. Kodak created, his name was Steve Sasson, he worked for Kodak, and he created the first digital camera in 1975. And we all know the story of Kodak. They suppressed the technology, This weighed 3.6 kilograms, and it was made up of a lens scavenged from a used Super 8 movie camera, portable digital cassette recorder, but of course, 16 nickel cadmium batteries, an analog digital converter, several dozen circuits, all wired together on 6 circuit boards. Then 1998 came along. It was FIFA Soccer World Cup in France. Reuters sent their sports photographers there and said, you may only use digital cameras. What digital cameras were around? Well, the Canon D2000 was used by Reuters photographers then, a 2 megapixel SLR. They also then used the D6000, which is a 6 megapixel DSLR. It worked so well that Reuters then said there is no reason to ever shoot a roll of film ever again. Which, when I read that, I thought, oh, I was quite sad about that. Yeah. If you Google the top 100 photos of all time, and there are many lists out there, this is from the most iconic list. There are no photos taken with a digital camera yet. These are history-making photos, and so photojournalism is really huge here. In the most influential list, there is the Oscar selfie, of course, taken with the Samsung Galaxy Note 3 in 2014. At the Oscars, Ellen put it on Twitter, which is now known as X because the Twitter bought it. It was actually taken by Bradley Cooper. Many people say it was Ellen, but she just put it on her Twitter, and there's the full image. So there we go. On the iconic list, there is a Samsung Galaxy photo. We then go fast forward to the Tour de France. This was 2021, 2022. Zach Williams is a Getty Images photographer. He camps along the side of the road, him and his wife. He doesn't actually transmit it straight away. They follow the tour, they camp over each night, and every night they sit with about 2,000 images on their laptop, and they go through them, choosing the best ones, very slight editing, and then they send them off. This is also another photo from Zach Williams. This is from someone sitting on a motorbike. Stefan Maher from Getty Images. He sits on the back of a motorbike, he takes the images, and he literally, within a few seconds, decides which ones to send to Reuters via Wi-Fi or 5G, whatever his camera is set up for. And within a few minutes, this image goes worldwide. So what is my point with all of this? I'm sure you've seen this. 24 photos on a roll, 6 are good. 2,000 photos on your card, 6 are good. So digital has changed things. Digital's got better and better. Technology's got better. Our programs have got better. But has our photography? So my point is, what about our photography? Now, we're not talking about the top photographers that go to the Tour de France. Maybe one day I will be invited to photograph the Tour de France because I win a raffle ticket or something. I know we have Johan Orton and we have Christian Kotze, who do these amazing sports photographers from PSSA. But what about us? What about my photography? So now I was looking at my photography, and it's the beginning of the year and everyone is so excited, and I'm thinking, no, I don't know. I feel like something is missing. I'm picking up my camera and I'm taking photos to enter them into club, you know, to meet the deadline. There must be something else. So the Alan Nixon runs that wonderful JAP course, and one of his slides says the photographer decides what to photograph, what to include, how to process, and how to present the image. And I've seen this slide before, and every single time I have the same reaction. And I giggle and I go, really? Is that what I'm supposed to be doing? It's so deliberate and it's so planned. I'll tell you, I think this is what most people do. This is my life. So Maritzburg Camera Club, our deadline is on the 10th. So the 10th, done, dusted. Like, got a whole, I think it's the 30th. And you go, no, I've got 10 more days. Then it's the 9th. Then you got one more day. And then it's the 10th. And so you're running around trying to find a good enough image. You've got very little time to check it, and you put it up and, oh, got another deadline gone, and you didn't miss it, and that's fantastic. Because we go to these outings and we go to these workshops, and we're off to the bird hides, and we get photos and maybe they're pretty good, and we think, okay, yeah, we got 6, and maybe there's 1 or 2, and we edit it straight away probably, and then do we go back and look at it? Do we go back and revisit it? Do we go back and edit it differently and crop it differently before the next deadline, before the next salon? So let's go back to my question. Why do we do this? Is there some kind of internal compass that is keeping us going? Or is it really just the deadlines? The thing about the word why is like, why do we photograph? It's pretty so much like, why do you climb the mountain? Like, because it was there. I mean, I've always thought that question was like so bizarre. So let's change the word why to motivations. And I think some of us have got very specific ones, and some of us, it just amalgamation of a whole lot. So perhaps it's the camaraderie at your club. It's great people, it's great coffee. You talk about F things and F bits, and you know even swearing. It's the connection and community, and there really is a sense of belonging. That's what I love about clubs. Maybe it's the competition. You like getting as many points as you can, and if you're competing with yourself or sneakily with the person behind you who sits and talks all the time in every meeting that you have, or maybe you just have a competition with your besties and you celebrate and you commiserate. Now, don't laugh at the next one. Maybe it's the money. Maybe you've got a side hustle or a full-time job. Maybe it's capturing that moment in history. This is from the protests in March last year in Istanbul by another Getty photographer. I mean, that is just the most incredible image. I'd be scared out of my mind being there, but imagine getting something like that. Maybe it's the outdoors and experience nature, and you want to show other people how beautiful it is before it disappears. A lot of pro wildlife and nature photographers have become staunch environmentalists to show what is actually happening out there and what is being destroyed. Maybe it's the technical side of things. It's all the gadgets and the settings and the latest equipment and the latest editing programs. And maybe you're really competent in all of that, but maybe you just like the gadgets and all the settings. Maybe you're an introvert working in the background behind the lens. I was going to do a slide for maybe you're an extrovert, but I know so few extrovert photographers, so I'm not sure how many of us would have responded to that slide. Maybe you like to express yourself artistically, trying new ways to edit, diving deep into Lightroom and Photoshop and layers and stories. Or maybe there's something right at the end, and this is what I call the quiet mind. This is that mind when you're sitting in a bird hide, even if there's no birds in front of you, you're trying to get that picture of that dandelion before the dog eats it, true story. You focused on one thing and one thing only. You focused on the now, and all your brain is doing is concentrating what's in front of you, and it's so soothing. Of course, when you look at it, you always go, oh, well, thank goodness. Like when I get home, there is Photoshop kind of thing. Okay, but let's go back. Why do we photograph? Let's go back to the why and let's go a bit deeper. So every blog, every pro photographer that I looked up this why do we photograph said, okay, this is what you do. You take your last 100 images and you copy them into a folder. If you only do birds, then I'm not sure what you're going to do. But if you're following all the challenges in your club, and all the creative challenges and the technical challenges, the set subjects, you must be doing very different things. So go and take your favorite images, not what you think will be the judge's favorite images, okay? Your favorite images, something in them that you really, really like, and maybe they're not competition worthy yet because you haven't learned to photograph like that yet. Then go to your favorite photographers. Maybe they PSSA members, maybe they pro photographers. You're not going to steal their photos. Just do a quick screenshot, save it into the folder. And what you're then going to do is look at all your favorite images and their images. And what do you like about the images? What do you like about your images? What don't you like? What are the similarities? What is going on with your photography? I did that, and this is my result. I zoom into everything. If I have a whole flower, I have yet to find it in my records. I zoom into everything. I'm just zooming in and I'm zooming in and I'm cutting off and I'm zooming in again. And yes, I find macro very comfortable. Macro's not easy, but I'm very comfortable with macro. I keep on going to the comfortable stuff, even with animals and birds. And it's not about the eye. I'm not that interested in eyes. I'm just zooming in. I've been to the African Raptor Center so many times, and it's now at Thala. I don't have a picture of a whole owl. I just have the eyes. And the vultures, I just have the eyes. Okay. And again, I'm just zooming in. I'm trying to see something. And then I have this really light bulb moment. I should have moved the light bulb photo to here. I'm all about the details. And my photography is mirroring my life, because my philosophy in life is if you concentrate on the details, if you get the details right, the big picture takes care of itself. And so there it is in my photography. The thing is, though, I think during COVID, And after COVID, when we had those 21 days, when we were all so excited and we were all working together as a team, whole country, and we had all these photographic challenges because we really believed it was going to be 21 days. A lot of creativity, I think, was lost in my head. And I saw a lot of photographers at our club stop taking photos, stop entering, the really creative ones, because my creativity just shut down. And I started doing these really detailed images because COVID was just so out of control everywhere. And all I could control was details. And I think sometimes when I look at my detailed images, there's a bit of manic energy in them. I carried on looking at my images, so don't stop. And then I found this one. We had a minimalism challenge at the club. And I remember this photo. It's one of my favorite photos I've ever taken of all time. So I carried on and I start finding these photos and these photos. And I'm starting to breathe. Now, when you're looking at photos that you love, you will have this judge's voice in your head. Now, can you imagine a judge looking at this? You know what the judge is going to go, oh, it's too small. And what's the grass doing there? Okay, so I sometimes think we should be allowed to have stories as captions like, this is the bird, the background is beautiful, the grass is the habitat. Move on, judge, hashtag, something. So yes, when you're looking at your favorite images, you're going to have to forget about the judge and your judge's voice in your head. And I'm also looking at photos like this. And this again was from a minimalism challenge. So one of our members, your default speaker has changed. Oh, my default speaker has changed. One of our members, Martin Agius in Malta, who I introduced you to, wrote this wonderful blog this week about negative space. Now, a lot of our photos are more minimalism to negative space, but we're just really talking about space here. And he called it the art of empty space. Okay, so this is one of Martin's images. If you want to go and read his blogs, it's martinagius.com. And this is what he says. It's so beautiful. Think of negative space as the breathing room in a photograph. It gives the viewer's eye a place to rest and helps emphasize the main subject without distractions. Far from being just a background, it becomes a compositional tool that gives structure and purpose to the image. Like, isn't that just beautiful? I'm turning the page. Okay. By using emptiness as an intentional design element, photographers can create images that are visually balanced, emotionally powerful, and deeply engaging. Now, I have a friend who's a life coach. She asked me for a whole lot of photos a few years ago, and she wanted to show the photos to the group that she was coaching. And then obviously write down one word that they think the photo represents, and then that's your psyche, da, da, da. And she had about 6. And I sent her this image. One thought it was brilliant. 2 were, one was like a little bit upset by it, and another 2 cried. First of all, they said that the goose was angry at them and they saw loneliness. And I thought, oh, that's really interesting. So you don't always have to have a positive reaction to your photos. You can have a negative reaction. It's okay. Okay. So he says more about negative space. Negative space reminds us that photography is not about just about the subjects. It's about how the space, silence, and simplicity work together to tell a story. I mean, isn't that just absolutely beautiful? Thank you, Martin, for that. So what does space mean to me? Space means peace. Space means creativity. And space means joy. This comes full circle to my other job. So in real life, I'm a graphic designer. If you want something to stand out, you don't make it bigger and make it neon green. Okay, you make it smaller and you put white space around it. It doesn't have to be white. It's just called white space. Okay, so now I think I want my photography now to mirror that. I want space. I want space in my head to create, and I want space in my photographs to show people that they can breathe. And space, maybe it's lonely for some people, but I want them to look at it and I want a reaction. I don't just want them to go, oh, that's a pretty flower, even though flowers are pretty. Okay, so let's get to finding your way. I encourage you to do an audit. Go and look at your favorite photographers, look at your photographs, have a look and see what are you doing, what are you not doing. You know, I know some people going, well, I want to do close-ups, I want to do macro, but I don't quite have a macro lens. That's fine. Save up, and I promise you you'll get there. There's some wonderful secondhand stuff out there. Do an audit on your photos. And then ask yourself these questions. What subject or genre makes you lose track of time? I know some people it's flowers, insects, maybe it's sports, maybe it's people. What story do you want to share through your images? What emotions do you want your images to stir up? Okay, it doesn't have to be positive. And again, this is the spider image that I took this morning with Boca, Leon. Yeah. And it's so easy to take this image and crop it right in and put it on the rule of thirds. And I had to resist. I like it like this. And I'm going to have to put photos in like this. And judges are going to have to learn. I've decided judges are going to have to learn that space and negative space is actually a good thing. Okay. That's it. Short and simple and sweet. Thank you very much, everyone. And I don't know if anybody's got any questions. I will stop sharing and put my video on.
Any questions from anyone for Des? You're getting
Thanks,
lots
Des,
of
that was very
accolades.
interesting. I like
Oh,
your
my
creativity.
speaker's gone off. There we go.
We could hear you.
Okay.
So I have the speaker that just goes off if it doesn't feel it's being used, and then it just switches itself off. So, oh, oh, good. I'm glad you all liked. Thank you, thank you.
Sorry, Des, can I come in?
Yes,
First of all,
of course you
thank you. It was absolutely brilliant what you put, and it was so meaningful and so
Oh, pleasure.
very much what I totally follow. I think that we as club members it's so easy to follow what we think the judge would like as opposed to what we really want to say with our photography. And I think
Yes.
that is a very difficult path to follow, and it's a very difficult journey to take because the JAP course is brilliant. I've just gone through it. It's really, really
Yeah.
great. But it's still, you know, nature, no birds, nature, birds only, scapes, da, da, da. It's so monotonous. And anybody that dares to put a bird up with negative space is taking a big gamble, whether the judge is going to hate it or see it for what it is. And I think it's just a huge education campaign that we, but also amongst the judges that might be very set in the old ways. And I know that there is a lot of things being done, but it is such an important part. We need to see the bigger picture. We need to allow creativity to come into our photography and not just see the back of the eyeballs or the leopard in the tree, but really to get some creativity coming in. So thank you. That was really good. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, we were invited to Mount Verde in Hilton to do a sunflower shoot. So it was, I didn't know what to do because now I've got the space and minimalism in my head, but there's these beautiful textures on the sunflowers and bees and so I took photos, and I'm not happy with my photos at all. I'll never enter any of them. So I think when you do decide you want to go into another path, I think my photography is going to go a little bit down, which is absolutely fine. Because I need to rethink as I'm taking the photos, not just bam, 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 bam. And I'm really excited about it. And it's the kind of thing that I would normally love. I was just completely lost. Like, I don't know how to photograph. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, hi, Martin.
Hi, my philosophy is just go out and enjoy shooting and shoot for yourself, not for competitions. I mean, then you will get better and better and will have better photos for competitions. But in my way, lack photography. So I shoot for myself and then
Yeah.
I will get into competitions.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, no, you're right. We do. We shoot for the competition. We shoot for the judge, and we've kind of lost. Every now and again, I see a picture's been entered, and I think, oh, the courage to enter a picture like that. That's just amazing. And we should actually be doing that regularly. Yeah.
Yeah,
And please
yeah.
go to martinagius.com, go to his blog and read that. And he's got beautiful examples of empty space and positive space. He really goes into the whole thing. It's absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
You wrote it such a good time. Thank you, Martin.
Thank you.
Yeah. Are there any other questions or comments? No, that's it. And thank you, everyone, for some people from the club. I just used your photos and I said it who it was. I didn't ask you. I just shoved it in there. I'm sure you don't mind. Thank you.
Des, that was
Thank you.
fantastic. And I
Oh,
think that
thank
what
you.
we can learn from that is I've seen top photographers. I'd love to actually not put their names on their photographs and give it to our judges and see what they
Oh,
come up
yes.
with. Because many of the photographs that have been made famous, be it sports or be it photojournalism, they are famous, but if you look at them technically, they're not the best photograph. So exactly what's being said tonight, I think your talk covers that. We are looking for more creativity. We're definitely embracing more creativity, and
Yes.
I really think you've hit the nail on the head, and thank you for that.
Oh, pleasure. Thank you. I've so enjoyed that.
Any other questions? Okay. So do you all want let's give it a 5-minute break, if anyone wants to take what I call the TP break. So you go for tea or whatever else. And then we'll see you back at 15:15. And those who want to stay on, I'm just going to go through some photographs, which I think will be pretty meaningful. It's not another presentation. It's just some photographs that I think will share some details that I think you should all hear. So see you all at 15:15. Don't
Thank you.
leave the group. Whatever you do, just stay on. And if you are leaving, then you must be leaving for good. But just stay on and just take the break that you need. Okay.
Thanks, Bridget.
All right.
Thank
Okay, is everybody back and can you all hear me?
Yes, we're back.
We're back.
Okay.
We can hear you.
All right, so can everybody see my screen?
Looks good.
Yes. Yeah.
You just
Okay.
have to put it on slideshow.
I'm going to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Why is it not going? All right. Can
There
I
we go.
pause? I can pause this as we go. Hey, Nikki?
Yeah. Is it on a timing?
I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
not
you
so
should
good
be
at
able to
these
just
things. Anyway,
use your cursors.
yeah. So, following on from what Des has said, and I actually think it's a good opportunity to tackle some of the points. I wasn't planning on talking tonight at all, but while we were busy rounding up our salon, the Highway Camera Club salon, I came across a few things that I thought it was important to feed back not only to our club but to all of those of you who are attending. And one of the first things was, why edit photographs? And there's a number of different thoughts that go into this. If you're a good photographer, then you should be able to take a good photograph and just submit it. That is a very famous thought, and a lot of people think photographs should just come straight out of your camera and straight on to wherever you're putting them. And then the second train of thought that comes up, if I can get it to go, is is it not just a better idea to make the most of what you have? We spend so much money and time on photography. Maybe it's time to give your photographs a little bit of TLC. So there's a lot of debate. We even have it within meetings that we have on what is the correct way to edit. So I saw some really amazing things that so few people get to see unless you're running a salon or you have access to other people's raw photographs, and specifically photographers who are at the top. So first of all, I must impress upon you that the following photographs, I've purposely downsized them to thumbnails. So the quality you're seeing at the end photograph is not the true quality. However, it's going to give you a very good idea. And then another thing is to let you know that I was chatting to Johan Drotsky, who was really, really keen on helping me cover this topic. And he was very, very kind and sent us some of their photographs that he had. I don't know whose they are. I don't know if they're Johan's. I would like to credit everybody, but there's too many photographs to do that. So all I'm going to tell you is these are some of our winning images in the last lot of salons. And you're going to be exposed to seeing where those images came from and then how they were processed. So I'm just going to go through these things very quickly. You're welcome to interrupt. You're welcome to ask questions. This is the raw photograph, stunning in itself. It was then edited, and obviously the cropping and everything's changed because I'm doing this on PowerPoint, but that was the final image. This is the raw photograph. And like I say, these are winning photographers. And just to make this very clear, many of them are in nature. So the editing that's been done on them is very, very basic, because you're not allowed to really edit in any way that you take out elements or put in elements. You've just got to do the basic edits. So very nice to see the difference between that and that. Again, this is a smudgy photograph. It doesn't really look like that. I've introduced a thumbnail to protect the photographer. This one I couldn't get over because when I first saw this raw, I actually couldn't make out what was in this tree. You can all see it when it's exposed like this. But this is the photograph that actually came out of that. Again, many might say little bird on the stick, very well received. There it goes. So as you can see, yes, a crop, definitely, bringing out definition, bringing out a little pop of color without making it unnatural. This one, the actual finished product does it no justice. It's just an incredible image, but this is what the raw looked like. And this is what we came out with at the end. So once you learn the skill of editing, you're not doing any disservice to the original photograph in any way. You're actually bringing out the subject that you want to have highlighted in the image. The quality of these will improve because when I get them from Johan, they're his own photographs and he is happy for me to use them. So I'll be able to show you that. But again, striking. Fails a lot of the technical sides, but geez, the image, the movement, everything, the water, very striking image. And some of you may even know this photograph and the photographer, but here is her raw image. That's what she came out with. So don't ever underestimate your own photography. Don't think you've actually got to go out and shoot this. What you've got to shoot is something like that, and all the information is in there. And then your creativity comes in when you actually learn how to bring out all the information that we need to see without distracting us. These are Johan's, so I'm going to show you. It's not necessarily his images, but it's what he sent us to have a look at. So again, I think this is a rubber fly, if I'm not wrong. And just amazing how you have a little guy sitting on the left like that and this exceptional image on the right. All of these, by the way, are award-winning photographs. You could hardly see the little gecko in the background, and it was completely overshadowed by this large wormy or whatever it is in the front. And yet look at the quality of the photograph on the right. Another one, darkness prevails, and yet here we are, and there was enough information in that to bring out a really decent image. An action shot, just knowing how to present it, taking out the distracting elements like the tree in that. Look, it's a wow shot in nature to get that. It's not something everybody sees, but you could have presented it like you did on the left. However, the winning shot came when composition and everything else were correct. Speaks for itself. It wasn't really cropped at the tail like that. It's just because of the PowerPoint presentation doing that for us. But I think you can see the detail that we are referring to. He's more on the sports side. Now, remember, that's very strict in terms of, so you couldn't, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but the wires and things that are sticking out, if it is in sport, you definitely can't start deleting mess or little spots on the boat or anything. But it's certainly, even from a PJ image, the quality that he's brought out in this photograph is, or they have brought out in this photograph, is unbelievable. And the last of these photographs, just in terms of the getting and showing where the action is so that you don't have all these other distracting people around. I'm sure his foot wasn't cut off in the final image. Again, that is a PowerPoint thing. So the other things that we found were that people were submitting monochrome, but we were getting monochrome images in color and categories, and we were getting color in monochrome. So it's very, very important. I cannot stress this enough. If you don't know how to check your images, and if you just simply desaturated an image, it's not going to cut it. And there is a process. I can show you how it's checked. This is from the brochure itself. So it shows you all the 4 different images and whether they're monochrome or not. And then it shows you that the variance of up to 22 is acceptable. And it shows you exactly how you test to see whether this is a monochrome image or not. Now, I can't go through this. I'm not even going to try and teach you all of this tonight. However, I would suggest that one way or the other, you either get a mentor to help you if you have mentors in your club, or alternatively, you go on and you have a look at how to make sure that your image is going to go into one or the other. I got a fright when I saw this, and I thought I need to go back and just quickly check all my monochrome images. So other reasons that things have gone pear-shaped recently for a lot of photographers is their filing technique. Now, I know this sounds ridiculous, but there's nothing worse than not being able to give over copies of your RAWs if you haven't got a good filing technique. And about 18 months ago, there was an audit done in one salon of all photographs submitted. That's 4,500 odd photographs. And they called for all the RAWs. And if you put in 24 photographs into that salon, you automatically had to go and find 24 of your RAWs. This caused absolute havoc. In fact, initially, only 55% of all photographers were able to come up immediately with their RAWs. So you need to, especially in unmanipulated or non-manipulated categories, you need to be able to access your RAWs and any other files that they ask for very quickly. And so I'm going to just share some ideas. This is not what you need to do yourselves, but it will definitely help you. And not only for this purpose, for printing purposes, for being able to access the images when you want to do presentations like the one that Des has just done. It really pays to have your house in order. So the title of all related images should be the same. For them to tie up RAWs with your photography, if it's got a number on it and your name of your photograph is aquamarine or at eye level, and then they're getting DSC 33950, I can tell you they're going to get very tired after a while. So just a suggestion, I have my photographic year. Remember, it runs from July until June of every year. I have 3 specific filing systems that I use. There's my raw files. This is where I have all my editing files held, and this is my submission files. It's all ABC, so that's why I always call mine be edited, but it's actually just the B category. So in here, I have a file with whatever it is that I have called my photograph. And when you start doing compilations, or when you start doing re-edits on photographs because you're wanting to submit them for whatever reason to club or anywhere else, you will, it pays to have these all in one file like that. I then take, so I go back, I say, okay, this file is called Talent Landing. And in there, anything that is related to that image, I put in that file. That'll include my JPEG. I have a color JPEG, a monochrome JPEG, and then I have my Photoshop file as well, and then definitely my RAW. So if somebody comes and asks me, where is your Talent Landing RAW? I just go into that file. When did I submit it? 2026, and there it is. No big stress or worry about where to find it. And by the way, if I submit it, this was an old one. If I do submit it, I will change that name to Talent Landing, and I'll put their color or whatever, so that it's easy for the people who are doing the audit on the other side to handle. Now, a lot of people are moaning about audits. They say, why are we doing them? We are not the only association in the world doing them. FIAP are doing it, PSA, they all have different ways of auditing. So it doesn't matter whether you're entering them in South Africa or America, India, or anywhere else. There are different manners of auditing, and they can call for your RAW at any time. The only people that are giving good sanctions are PSSA. The others are giving pretty harsh, like lifelong sanctions. So yeah. Then I have my submission files, which is C. Okay, and underneath there, I divide it into the various different categories that I normally would shoot in. And I put only my small JPEGs that relate to the images we've just been referring to in there. If I update one of my files, I immediately update my JPEG. And this is all my 2026 files, remember? So easy for me to remember when looking for it at a later time. If I open up my 2027 and one of these images is going to carry forward, I carry it forward into my 27 folder. So to give you an idea of what my monochrome file looks like, this is where all my monochrome images are. I can then go in, quickly do a test over all of these now because I need them all to do a test for color and submit them. And then the last thing, which I won't go into right now, is keeping a record of how your photographs are done. Anything in red is an acceptance, anything in black is my scores, so that I can see, you know, scrap this photograph, it's got 24, 24, or whatever it is. There's all the salons, there's highway camera club submissions, and there it starts with international. So I can go back and check on a record at any time. My acceptances are all in A's, my comes are in C, and I have a different year. Each time the year starts, I carry forward the images I want to, and then I simply keep a record on how they are doing. So for me, my understanding is photography is what you put in is ultimately what you're going to get out. If you want to do well in photography, it's great to be creative, it's great to break boundaries, but I believe that for your own sakes, you always need to keep good records and put that extra little TLC into your images. And those are the images that are actually coming out tops. And I've seen that now in our latest salon and in other salons that I've judged as well. So I thought I would just go through that. If there are any questions, you're welcome to answer. I'll ask them and I'll see if I can answer. If I can't, then I'll go back and do some homework for you. Or Des or Bev or anyone else that's on here, please feel free to cut in and see if you can help answer as well. Anything?
I've got a blank screen.
Oh, let me go out of this now. I've got to stop sharing. Is that better?
There we go. Yes. Bridgit, yes, thank you so much. The whole editing thing. I mean, when I was down there doing judging for portraiture, and it was Shirley Gillett and Bev and myself, we're sitting there, and the amount of photos we said, oh, there is so much potential. There's so much potential. It just has not been edited correctly. And it's not wild edits. It's just, just a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of TLC. And every single salon that I have judged, the judges have sat there, and that's what we start commenting on, just, if you could only just, you know, and just a little bit of knowledge of editing, what to do, how to do it. Yeah, absolutely. And that whole thing about the housekeeping, yes, that must be done. She says, I'll duck my head. I don't do that very well.
Don't worry, mine falls behind and then I have to go and quickly catch it up. But once you've got the basis there, it's easier to catch up than not have done it at all. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if anyone wants to say anything else. What we're doing at our club, because the JAP course now so we had quite a few people on our club that's judged. So myself and Terry Byrne and Leon Hayes, when we judged, we like to go to the photo. And if we've said to the photographer, crop it and drop your highlights or something, we would then take the photo and crop it and drop the highlights. And we like to show people what we've done and if it works. And in the JAP course, they're saying, no, you really shouldn't do that. You're not allowed to fiddle with people's images. And so what we are doing, and this may be an idea for other clubs, is the Wednesday after our meeting, Leon has taken 5 images, I've taken 5 images, and we're going to do a Zoom, and we're going to do an editing Zoom. And we're going to show people what they perhaps could have done with the images. Very light editing, no masking, no layers, nothing fancy. And we're just going to see how that goes. I think, you know, just showing people very, very simple stuff and how to look at images, I think it's a great idea. So Yeah, what we'll do is we'll send the Zoom link out if you want to see how we do it, and then if your club wants to do it and improve on it, and yeah, but Leon and I have already chosen our images, and it's going to be fun, and it's quick. It's going to be 30, 40 minutes. It mustn't take time. And I think if someone wants to sit and edit for hours and hours, fabulous, good for you. But I sit in front of a computer all day for my job, and when I've got to edit photos, it's got to be quick. For hours and hours. So yeah, that's just an idea to put out there.
Thanks, Des. Anyone else have any questions or want to say anything?
Bridget, it's Rung here. If I can just add, there still seems to be recurring questions from club members of what actually is manipulation, and in nature categories, what can we and can't we do? And I know that you think that it is an education campaign, and I think that there is still a fair amount of uncertainty around that. So, for example, blurring backgrounds. How much can you and can't you? How much can you lighten your subject and darken your background? There's no yardstick, and it's all a bit vague still. And I think some more clarity would be helpful for club members.
Okay, can I give you all a hint on this one? Very good question, Rung. So first of all, there's a club zone where you all, the committees of each club have access to it, and there will be training, presentations, etc., going up there. And the one that is on there at the moment is done by Jill Sneesby, and that is a very, very good presentation on manipulation or non-manipulation. And then if you go into back copy, so anybody who's on here, if you go into the member zone on the PSSA website, at the left-hand side, once you've logged in, you will see e-image. And the e-image, I've actually just done an audit through that for Karine, and every single e-image has something either about manipulation, non-manipulation, or the latest of what's going on internationally as well. So that is a really, really good way to up your skills and understanding what's required, because sometimes it's different between international and regional and national. So make sure that you keep up to speed with that. Yes, Nikki?
Just to say thank you to both of you. I think you've both helped to refocus us on two completely different aspects. I think, as Des says, it's very easy to get into this loop where you're rushing to meet deadlines all the time, whether it be a club or a salon or whatever, and you start forgetting some of the basics. And what you've both done is just remind us of, take a moment, rethink how you do things, and be more disciplined about your filing and everything else. I know that I entered 2 photographs into a salon just recently, both the same photograph, into 2 different categories. And it was just straight carelessness. But yeah, it's because we're rushing and things like that. So there was wise words from you, Bridget. Thank you. And thank you, Des, for the creativity in yours.
Pleasure.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Mm.
The other thing I want to impress upon everybody is when entering, whether it's in your club or whether it's in a salon or wherever you're going to enter your photographs, never, ever, ever think that you don't have to read through the rules, because these are evolving so rapidly, and especially with all the pressure that's on all of us at the moment to keep up to international standards, etc. So they do change, and a lot of photographs that were DQ'd from the last 3 salons are people who haven't actually gone on and had a look at what the rules are and whether a color is allowed or whether mono is allowed. So all of that kind of housekeeping is imperative. It can't just be about the photograph. And yes, I think that what Des is saying is true. Don't let's turn all of us into a sausage factory where we're just delivering what judges want. However, if you are going to play rugby, you do need to know the rugby rules. So whatever it is that you decide to do with your photograph, wherever you're going to put it, please do some homework before entering it and keep yourselves up to date with whatever's happening.
Bridget, can I say something about that? Because I think on that score with the rules, it's also really good that there's alignment, which I know there is, between FIAP and PSSA, and then also with the clubs with PSSA, because if those rules are kept aligned, it just makes it easier for everyone. Otherwise, it's all over the show. So I think that's a really good strategy to be implementing all the time.
Yeah, I think
absolutely.
I think you're right, Nikki. I think if you go on into and I keep going back because there's so much information and so many tutorials and everything in that e-image magazine that so many people fail to see. But if you go back and have a look in there, there's the last edition that just came out, is actually on the front page of the website, are all the details of the latest FIA, which is one of the most highly recognized associations in the world. And I think it's, if you go on and see that we're pretty much up to date with everything, if not leading the way in some respects. So yeah, again, like I say, just keep yourselves in tune with what's going on. It helps your photography too. You see an incredible learning curve with your photography. Anyone else? Okay, Des, thanks again. That was just absolutely
pleasure.
awesome. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, you can always send them through to either Des, myself. We'll get them answered by the right people.
Yes.
And again, just apologies from Bev. She really, really did want to, first of all, welcome you as chair of Highway, and she was just unable because she just got herself a new system, so it wasn't working the way she thought it would. But otherwise, yeah, thanks for joining us. It's been good.
Yes, thank you. And Corne's also got no sound. What is it with these chairs?
Yeah,
She said
we got to
should join
whip
in
some
together.
butt, yeah.
Absolutely, yes. We will be doing that. Yeah. So, and thank you so much, everybody. Really appreciate you listening and staying on and listening.
Yeah.
Yes.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, Bridget, for all the organizing, and we'll chat soon.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you very much.
Bridget, you'll send me the recording when you've got it.
I will do, yeah.
I'll
send it tomorrow morning.
Thank you so much. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you.